Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Look, Victor Creed's selling me out already. My brother meant two-ish, maybe three. No, I'm here. I'm here. Right? Yeah, yeah. I know everybody's like, oh man, a Yanni clip. Yeah, clack, 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 clack. Yeah, I know. Right? Y'all peep when she put the White Valley Girl voice on, right? Women of color, y'all exposing yourselves so much. Whenever y'all talk about freedom, whenever y'all talk about being better than a group of men, y'all always put y'all White Valley Girl voice on, the fake Girl voice, right? Right? Y'all notice when Yanni put on the oh my god, like imagine that something like that. She said, right? Her oh my god, she sounded like a white woman, right? Not just a standard white woman, the White Valley Girl, the entitled prissy brat. And it's very interesting whenever you see women of color, but primarily black women, put on this type of voice, right? It's to put on right? That is white people, white women in particular, right? So I checked out the links. One is real quick, right? And the other link is with figure-ish. I checked out a couple of videos. Um, so we're teaching about and shout out to them for covering this. I'm giving maybe now. Hopefully you guys hear me now. Um, hopefully the Borgini isn't too bad. Um, can you guys hear me now? Maybe one in the chat if you guys can hear me now. Oh wow, I'm Borging. Okay, let's try this again. Hopefully you guys can hear me much better now. Okay, hopefully y'all can hear that. I'm back. I'm back. Victor Creed said, "Damn, Yanni got your boy." No, I'm here. I'm here. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me get a one in the chat if you guys can hear me. Hopefully so. Um, BGS for covering what he did. Um, okay, so the concept of freedom, right? So a lot of this comes from radical feminism, right? Um, I might have to cover the radical feminism documentary again, right? I might have to circle back to that. Um, because what we see is that the concept from radical feminism, which was mostly same-sex loving women. I want Yanni and the brother's wife. I forgot her name from figuring ish out. I know Toya is on there sometimes. I forgot her name, but I want them to know like the what y'all are espousing about this freedom and seeing marriage as slavery or um the obligations of marriage, the just ideas of selfish, all of that. Radical feminism, not just feminism. I'm not just saying radical just no, literally that's radical feminism, right? That's a tenet of radical feminism, to see being partnered and being relationship and being the wife to a man, to be a man's wife, to see that as slavery. That literally is what lesbian women were saying in the 70s and the 80s. I'm not just calling them lesbian to call them lesbian. No, lesbian women are the ones who were saying who put being married to a man slave, right? So like when I say like date out or like engage in same-sex loving relationships, I mean it. Right? And obviously the young lady from figuring ish out, she's married, that's her husband sitting next to her, right? So we're not speaking about her. She met someone that made her reconsider. But for Yanni's essentially telling you what a lot of modern women are telling you: buy me out, right? So for all of us that are in our 30s and up, mid 30s and up, and we listening to the young men speak about women telling them, hey, hit my cash app up if you want me to give you my number, hit my cash app up if you trying to take me out on a date. And when they say hit my cash app up, they're not talking about no little $20. They taking 150, 100, 200, 250, depending on the woman you're talking about. You might be looking at 1,000 or something, right? So we're looking at those young men like, oh hell no. But who told millennials, Xers, and boomers that we were any better? Uh-oh. Who told millennial Xers and boomers that we weren't engaging in the same thing? I'm not talking about individually, those of us in the Black manosphere. I'm talking about as generations, right? As groups of men. Who said we weren't engaging in the same thing? We looking at these brothers like, oh, y'all wilding if y'all paying if y'all hitting a girl cash app up. But Yanni over here telling you, yeah, you got to buy me out. There's no way I get married unless I'm a kept woman of leisure in the marriage. Now, why does this matter? This matters because I want to put a death knell to what Richard Reeves is talking about and what FD Signifier is talking about and what Dr. Umar, yes, I'm going to cover it too. Shout out to Bernard Riley. What Dr. Umar Johnson is talking about. No, these women see marriage as slavery. Let's stop talking to the men about, oh, you're doing this wrong and you're doing that wrong and you haven't built Wakanda. No, the women see marriage as slavery. And the goal now is to have men somehow, probably through taxes, pay for their freedom. In other words, we're enslaved to them through tax dollars. We're enslaved to them through the infrastructure. Now, when we talk about wealth transfer, there you go. Right? When women hold 2/3 of student loan debt, and yet we're going to do loan forgiveness for them, and men pay more into taxes in America than women do, literally we're saying that men are going to pay for women to, in the future, put the middle finger up and tell us that they're better than us because they have college degrees. That blue collar man that she's looking down on, he's paying through taxes for her to look down on him? Oh, hell no. Oh, no. Right? That's why this matters. That's why what Yanni is saying matters. And I wanted to show the young lady from Figuring Ish Out because she didn't do anything necessarily wrong. Obviously, she's married. You know, like I said, she reconsidered. She had a change of heart. She met somebody that she's in love with. And as they spoke about, if you watch the whole clip, as they spoke about, there was times when she was up financially, there's times when he was up financially, and right now she's up financially by a margin, right? Okay, cool. But right, I'm sorry, y'all. Somebody just cut me off getting on the expressway. Oh boy. Oh, and he's not driving. Oh, and he's not driving. Oh boy. Okay. All right. All right. You ever see somebody and their car is like beat up? You could tell they've been in a couple accidents. It's more than one fender bender, right? And then you see how they drive, and you figure you can see why, right? Yeah. Yep. That just happened. All right, back to the topic at hand. Mr. Z's not gonna get angry about this. I'm not gonna let this ruin my day. So yeah, y'all. So I wanted to show the idea that comes, that the concepts, the ideas that is causing many women to be single. They're the ones who see marriage as slavery. Yanni showed you a clip of a young lady, white young lady, trying on a wedding dress, and then while she's trying the wedding dress on, she's having visions of being a mother. Looks like cooking, doing all, you know, motherly chores, or chores that we would traditionally see as motherly chores, and essentially she gave the dress back. She tried on the dress. She likes the dress, and she gave the dress back. Well, Yanni, we already said that women really care about the wedding, not marriage. They love all the eyes and the attention, and they love to be princess for a day, but they don't actually want the responsibility for it. And you see the responsibility as slavery. Then stay single, lady. I said this to Yanni already. Eat vagina, stay celibate, or be the target practice, because Yanni, you're gonna get older, so you're gonna become the target practice for younger dudes. I'm just saying. And by the way, they want new PlayStations. They ain't gonna be smashing for free. Have fun, Yanni. Soon you will be paying for penis. Talking about having sex with men is easy for now because you're young still. Say that in 20 years. Right? You're gonna be paying for something, you're gonna be paying some gas money, you're gonna be paying something. If you doubt me, give it 20 years. Yanni, somewhere around the 30-year-old mark, give it 20 years. All the brothers that's 50 now, if they're paying for penis. So you got choices, Yanni. You could be celibate and stay single, or you could have fun now, stay single, and then pay for penis in the future. It's up to you, right? But now we know more and more why women are the way they are when it comes to alimony, and how dogged they are about getting their alimony, how dogged they are about getting that student loan forgiveness, right? Because it's all about not being tied to men, but somehow having men's finances tied to you. Men are paying for your freedom from them. What? Right? And I see the super chat. Give me a second before I can read it. Give me 1 second. Right? Well, actually, it's going to be a little bit more than a second. Right? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. So women want, and it's not just Yanni. It's not just black women. This is the normal right now. Right? Yanni says she wants to be a kept woman of leisure, and she earns 6 figures. No, Yanni, just be single, bro. Just be single. Or go end up with an old crickety, crotchety white dude that you're going to fake smile and tell us how happy you are to be with him. Right? Go end up with some old white dude, maybe same-sex loving relationship, or stay single with your rose to it. Talking about getting sex is easy. Right? Talking about that dark hole. It was a dark hole. I was in a dark hole. Wait, so you got your heart broken like everybody else, and it made you be in a dark hole? Y'all are so damn fragile. Maybe that's what it is. Y'all are not like people. Like, yeah, you do recordings and you're on YouTube, but maybe that's the problem. Y'all are like fragile and risk averse and all that other stuff. And if that's okay, then go to church. If you're scared, go to church. Like, I'm not about telling women they have to be like men, but I'm also not about extra super fragile women either. I don't want women that's hard as rocks, not at least not a woman that I'm in an intimate relationship with, right? But the whole fragile thing, I got my heart broken, I can't talk to men, I'm so fragile. Get your weak ass out of here. I'm never going back to that dark place. So now men gotta pay for you not to be get out of it, and that's why you're single. You could tell us how much you go out and you flirt with dudes, yawn, right? Yawn. Who created all these fragile ass people? Just fragile. Now they're talking about relationships and marriage like it's slavery, right? Like if Yanni speaks and she has her Sex in the City fantasies rolling through her mind, and other her subscribers, if you go through the comments in Yanni's comment section, all you get is 50 something, 40 something, 30 something year old, 20 something year old women all talking about, yeah, pretty much men have to buy them out. And I don't think there's anything wrong with women thinking that. Have fun finding the men to buy you out. The numbers don't add up, but hey, right? The contempt for men and masculinity and manhood. Meanwhile, men pay the majority in taxes. Meanwhile, men build and maintain infrastructure. And even for black men. Meanwhile, black men are the ones clocking the most hours at work. Still earn the most out of black women and black men. Still start the most businesses. Still employ the most black people and other people. And these people see being married to you as slavery. Like I said, the internet will expose us all. And like I always say, let them talk. Let the women talk. What is Dr. Umar going to say to this? She told you she want to be a kept woman of leisure and she earned 6 figures. How this supposed to work? So Yeti just X'd off like 90% of men in America, and like what? Of on the 90% of men, not just black men, right there. And that's we're counting similar-ish. If she want to live that super looks even above us, we look like I said on the previous time, 2, 3, 4%, something like that, right? Or is Yanni against Paris? Yanni doing numbers. Yanni see Paris got, her YouTube money coming in nice, and yet she found a man that earns, even more apparently. Possibly, we're not sure about that. So Yanni said, well, if Paris could do it, I could do it too. Anything you can do, I can do better. All right then. Y'all want to tell me how this works in the long run? Dear subscribers to Yanni, how is this supposed to work for you in your life? Right? How is this supposed to work for you in your life? Right? So we're covering this so that we could show, hey, this is a thing. This is what's really going on. This is how they really think. This is how they really feel. This is not what Dr. Umar talking about. Oh, y'all haven't built this and we haven't done this. And the women don't care nothing about that. They want a luxurious life. They don't even want standard anymore. So anything that's not plush is struggle love. Well, continue to watch your birth rate fall through the floor then. Nobody's going to say anything about that? Fine. All of you Dr. Umars, continue to watch the birth rate. That includes for black people in America. Continue to watch that fall through the floor. Because y'all socialize women to be this, and then you chastise the men for not adhering to this insanity. Straight insanity. Right? I want to be a kept woman of leisure while you earn 6 figures. Huh. Of course the math don't math. It's not supposed to. They're supposed to sound delusional like they are. And like I said, you go through Yanni's comments, it's just nothing but other women agreeing with her delusion. Right? And these are the same women that low-key are complaining that men are not on their level. We don't have to be. That's not what feminism is. When men talk about marriage, it sounds like slavery. And John Jones says, and thank you for the super chat. And John Jones says, my girlfriend and I recently broke up. So I'm liberated. I mean single. I mean I'm single, bruh. And that's good for you, right? That's good for you because apparently the way these ladies are talking, they see this as marriage, as slavery, right? So you guys can see me now. Right? Oh, my mic went out for a little bit. Okay. Okay. And okay, so I'll have to do it like this then. All right, hopefully you guys can still hear me. Yeah, so what I was saying is, Yanni says, when men talk about marriage, it sounds like slavery. Did you hear that, Dr. Umar Johnson? Did you hear that, FD signifier? I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to. That it's not the men. Y'all have fundamentally socialized the women to see men as oppressors outright. See, they don't do any class distinction. It's very fascinating too that the same women that want the elite men that do the oppression also see being with regular men as oppressive. You got to buy them out. Wait a minute, wait a minute. So you want the dope boy, but you don't want to be with the dope boy? Wait, what? You want the oligarch, but you don't want to be with the oligarch? Somebody explain this to Mr. Z. You want the opulent life, but you don't want the cost of being with the man that provides you the opulent life? How is this supposed to work? Right? How is this supposed to work? I don't know what's going on, but yeah. Somebody's messing with Z's connection, apparently. Somebody's messing with Z's connection. So Yanni also says that she's looked after and cared for as a single woman. So she's looking after herself, she's caring for herself, and she earns enough to be okay in that role. Nothing wrong with that, right? The young lady and Toya, what is the Toya's in here? At least I saw her in here earlier. Toya, what is the name of the young lady from keeping figuring ish out? I was about to say something else. What is the name of the young lady from figuring ish out? The other young lady, right? The one that's married to the brother. I forgot her name, right? But she says she was she saw She saw marriage as a life of being tied down, right? It was a life of being tied down, and that matters. That, if the goal is to have children in wedlock, in marriage, and yet what you have is women seeing it as being tied down. So, in other words, all the movies that we used to watch, all the television shows that showed men, acting like they're the ones who see marriage as a ball and chain, what you're finding is that actually women, especially modern women, are the ones who see being married as, a ball and chain, right? That's what we see. Right? And yeah, make sure we say that again. A life not being tied down as more appealing than marriage. That's what the young lady said. She also said she was thinking about being married as a loss of power, a loss of control, a loss of flexibility, a loss of the ability to move, right? To come and go as she pleases, right? And marriage meant that she had to be considerate, right? And we have to be honest, some people just don't want to sign up for that, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm not about funding them there. Dear US government, I'm not about funding these women that want to freestyle and do whatever they want to do because they don't make enough. See, Yanni earns enough. Paris makes enough. Even if she was to divorce her husband right now, Paris earns enough. Chrissy earns enough. But all these other women that think like them, wait, my tax dollars and other men and women, married women, tax dollars are supposed to go to these women that think like this about men and marriage and relationships. So they're spiting the entire, let's be very clear. These women are not just spiting men. They're spiting the entire society because they can't get the type of men they deserve. See, nobody really puts it in those terms. She wants to be bought, right? And so she earns her 40 grand a year, $45,000 a year, waiting to be bought. Meanwhile, your tax dollars are going to go to everything for her. When she retires, she never got married. She might have never had children. And now your tax dollars are going to go to everything to help to sustain her life. Because she threw a temper tantrum because she couldn't be with the type of men she feels she deserves. How is this supposed to work? See, no one words it that way. No one words it that way. The young lady from Figuring Ish Out, she got married. Like I said before, she reconsidered. Yanni and them, no, they throwing a fit. They're throwing a fit on men's dime. Thank you, Eric. And exactly. And Eric says these women should take a look at what's going on in South Korea and Japan now. Governments are cutting social services because the government can no longer care for them, and the women are screaming about it. Of course. But Yanni not thinking that far. See, all these waging war on black men type of black women, and all of these waging war on men type of women in the West and in America, they're not thinking that far. They really think money get printed on trees. They don't think about inflation. They don't think about just what's going on right now with just the society pulling some of that money back, right? Austerity measures to try to dry up some of that money, but also to punish people, that part too. They're not thinking that far, right? All they could think about is waging war on black men, waging a jihad on black men, no matter the cost, even if it costs society. Because they can't get the type of men they feel they deserve. Right? Now, Yanni says something I found very fascinating. Right? Compromise. These men need to compromise. Now, I would love to know what Yanni means by compromise. I could tell you what she means, but I would love to hear it from her mouth, what she means by compromise. Now, anybody that's part of the Black Manosphere, y'all already know what these women mean by compromise. I am woman, hear me roar. I want feminism and patriarchy simultaneously. I want to be able to bark at you and be mean and snarky and an a-hole, but you still pay all the bills and provide and protect. I want to be moody and I want to say messed up things and I want to be condescending, but you still pay all the bills and make sure there's food on the table because that's your job as a man. That's what they mean by compromise. That's what Yanni means by put money. That's what she means by compromise, right? Oh my God, get your lame ass out of here. All these wannabe white women, and not even just white women, wannabe elite white women, right? And I want to remind us, just because they don't sound the way men do and they don't emote the way men do, does not mean they're not throwing a temper tantrum. Yanni is throwing a temper tantrum. Yanni is throwing a tantrum because where she is economically, she's finding a difficult time to find the type of men that she wants and that she would, appreciate. Oh well, date out, right? Oh well, date out, right? And Eric says, why can't Yanni just get her a corporate master of the universe to take care of her since getting men is so easy for her? I wish she would just do that. Look, Yanni, much like probably the young lady I covered last week, the darker skinned young lady, Yanni know them white dudes with some money ain't dealing with that, and the black men with some money ain't dealing with that, and Latinos and the Asians. Any man that worked his butt off to get into position, just like women say, I'm not dealing with that, the men ain't dealing with that. They're not dealing with no snarky a-hole woman just for her looks. No, they'll smash, but they're not trying to take that seriously or marry that. See, reality TV shows have everybody messed up. These dudes would rather deal with a woman with one down, maybe even two down in looks, than deal with a Yanni who they might find attractive. They'll try to smash Yanni, but they definitely not trying to wife Yanni if she's an a-hole. And Yanni know that. Don't ever expect her to admit it. That's why it was so interesting to hear the young lady that I covered last week actually say, like, she knows she not everybody type and those non-black dudes ain't checking for her. That's rare for a black woman to actually just outright admit. Yanni won't admit that. She's always going to make it seem like, oh yeah, I'm the one who doesn't want this and doesn't want that. She'll never admit that she's an a-hole, and the type of men that she finds attractive and appealing aren't dealing with her and her snarky ass attitude, right? So they might find her visually appealing, and the second she start talking all this money stuff, even the dudes with the money are like, ew, right? So they might, how we are as men, white, black, Latino, Asian, or otherwise, we might linger around a little bit because we trying to hit, but you were off the wife list once you came out the mouth and said something we didn't find appealing. You're like, yuck. Okay, but I still want to smash though, right? And the young lady says, from figuring ish out, she would have to have been considerate, and she also said of another person, right? She would have to be considerate of another person if she got married, which now she is married, and she was selfish and basking in her selfishness. Very important. She was selfish and basking in her selfishness. Nothing wrong with that. When I say that, I want everyone to understand. I really mean that. I really mean, I'm not joking when I say that. There's nothing wrong with a person that's saying, you know what, I'm just going to focus on me. But on the other side of that, whatever consequences, whatever is on the other side of that equal sign, you got to eat that. And Yanni, you throwing your temper tantrum is you eating it. As you can see, the young lady that's from figuring ish out, you see her in her relationship with her husband, they straight. You, on the other hand, you still, you still trying to figure ish out. Shout out to figuring ish out, right? And that's okay. But for the women that don't earn as much as you, I'm not about funding them. let me get this right. They get to be mean and snarky and condescending and belittling and yet and still. Because I think when they say any under 40 grand, you're really not paying taxes like that. Is it federal income tax? What taxes are you not paying under 40 grand? One of my economist guys in the comments will figure it out, say it. But yeah, right. And we know the majority of women don't earn 40 grand. So women that's earning 20 something and 30 something $1,000 a year being mean and condescending and belittling, and they're surviving off of the grace of some women and primarily men. Yeah. Wow. Right? Wow. You're surviving off of the grace of men while you condescend to men and say you want to be a kept woman of leisure. Right? Like I said before, this is why they're all about alimony. This is why they're all about alimony. This is why they're all about student loan forgiveness. This is why they're all about all of that. Because men are supposed to pay. Right? Men are supposed to pay. And this should be expected also in this particular capitalist society, this neoliberal society. When I say they have a neoliberal understanding of men, I meant what I said, FD signifier. I meant what I said, right? And this wouldn't be necessarily a problem if it didn't affect your society. It affects your society the way women think about relationships. I told you before, they want feminism and patriarchy at the same time. And what we're finding here is not just feminism. Say it with me now. They want radical feminist tenets and patriarchy. How can you have both? That makes even less sense than just normal feminism, which is bad enough. Right? So marriage is slavery. So you better be worth 6 figures at the very bottom end before I can even consider it. Marriage is bondage. Marriage is nothing but obligation and responsibility. Right? What Yanni said, where's the incentives? Where's the incentive? There's no incentives. Screw your incentives. Stay single. There you go. Stay single. Keep on flirting until you're the old lady in the club and dudes ain't doing nothing but trying to use you as a target practice. And dear Yanni, don't expect old women to tell you the truth. Yanni, you've been around women. You know they ain't gonna tell you the truth. You know the 45 and 50 and 55-year-olds, the 50+ year olds definitely ain't gonna tell you how men ain't trying to holler at them no more. And it's actually, wait a minute, skirt, wait, breaks, skirt. Actually, didn't we have the old model, the Sports Illustrated model, the white woman, a couple years ago, speak about this, right? And haven't we had other older women speak about it's really young men flirting with them because they're trying to smash? They're invisible to men of their age group and largely older men, but younger men are trying to, target practice. Huh, right? Huh. So it needs to be said over and over again. Mr. Z will continue to drum this drum, hit this drum, right? We'll continue on this with this drum beat of it's not the men. This society has done a pretty damn good job on pacifying turning men more egalitarian, right? Oh yes, Lala Anthony, thank you, better you. That was another woman that said it. It's younger dudes trying to hit on her to smash, right? She said 21-year-olds and stuff like that. Exactly. You know, and I got to bring this up again. Yanni doesn't get it. See, the young lady from Figuring Ish Out, she gets it. Yanni doesn't get it. She does not understand Gabrielle Union's situation. Look, Gabrielle Union's struggling, and she's married to a millionaire dude. And why would she do that to herself? You don't get it. Gabrielle Union understood something. Gabrielle Union understood it would better. It's better to be D Wade's wife than be a single woman, no kids, no man, or even a kid. Gabrielle Union knew that her clock was ticking. Right? Oh, thank you, Eric. Eric Denman says Claudia Jordan said the Johnson. I think you mean Jordan, but Claudia Jordan said the same thing. Yeah, and Yanni doing the same thing that Ebony K. Williams did with Iyanla Vanzant. When they do come across elder women who's trying to give them a word of advice, even if those elder women are themselves messed up, when they come across those women just can't hear them. The younger women just can't. Yanni just can't hear the older women, whether they're white, black, Latina, or otherwise, say, "Hey, I'm telling you, you looking at us like we're goofballs and we're dumb. I'm telling you, all that single and free and stuff that sound nice. When we're young, it sound nice, but when you have money and you have a nice home and you got a nice luxury car, as you get older and you done traveled and you've been to different places and you mainly going to places by yourself, it gets tiring." And Yanni can't hear it. She's looking at Gabrielle Union, not understanding why Gabrielle Union is married to D Wade when she's paying half the bills. You don't get it. It's okay you don't get it. It's perfectly okay you don't get it. We will just use you as a case study for other women younger than you. Don't worry, you'll see. All these people who think they don't need companionship or are trying to threaten the opposite sex, right? Bow to me or I'll remain single and you won't have me. Okay, right? Thank you. Thank you, T713. And T713 says her name is Paulina Poritskova. I think that is 80s supermodel. Yes, that young lady. That older woman, that older, more seasoned lady. Right? But everybody think they're gonna be an exception to the rule. Look, Mr. Z does not think he's the exception to the rule on much of nothing. Right? All these people think they're gonna be the exception to the rule. I know, and you know what it is? I'm gonna make myself a money blanket, and I'll be all right. I'll make a blanket. I don't need no man. My money is all I need. Meanwhile, you're throwing a temper tantrum on YouTube, and you don't think that's what you're doing. You're throwing a tantrum, Yanni. Number one. Number two, you are correct. No, let's tell the ladies the truth. You are correct. You don't need any men. You're good. You don't need men. You don't. Tick tock. Tick tock. These people are saying they're holding society hostage. I know we don't like to think about it like that, but they are. Because we're using Yanni to have a larger conversation about women that don't earn nearly as much as her, but that think the same way. They're not having children, so they're not contributing in that way. They're not getting married. They're not really contributing too much in taxes because, once again, the majority of women earn less than $40,000 a year. So they're not getting married. They're not having children. They're just there. sticking their middle finger up at men, talking about what they won't settle for, who's not on their level. And the Dr. Umars of the world want us as men to change. For who? For your spoiled brat daughters? For your a-hole, mean, entitled, snarky daughters? Oh no. Let them be single or go end up with the Latino or white dude. And have fun with that, because you'll find that the white dudes don't got it like that neither, and definitely not the Latinos. But I guess that's something you're going to have to figure out the erect way. I said erect for a reason. Right? You're going to have to find that out the hard way. We need to hear women see marriage as slavery, as bondage. Not we in the black manosphere, but other men that keep on defending this, like Dr. Umar. They need to hear it. They need to hear six-figure women essentially say, "Yeah, you got to buy me out." They need to hear younger women talking about, "Yeah, you have to send something to my Cash App. Hit up my Cash App before I can even give you my number." They need to hear it, because these men help to perpetuate the BS. They help to keep it going. And this is their form of respectability. Well, if men just did this, then the women wouldn't. No, the women want to be free on your dime. Y'all are having an issue that y'all raised 2 and 3 generations of entitled brats, a-holes, Xers, millennials, and Zs. Complete and total a-hole brat women, even the ones that don't have anything. And in the grand scheme of things, there wouldn't be anything wrong with that, except for the fact that they holding your society hostage. What that birth rate look like? You think that abortion bill gonna change anything? I don't know. Right? They're mean, they're entitled, they're condescending, right? And yet they're telling you that marriage with you is like slavery. But they still want you to kick in those dollars though. And exactly, from Africa I came. The Richard Reeves and Umars of the world will go down with the ship. They won't admit anything. And there you go. I think Dr. Umar, not Dr. Umar, sorry, not Dr. Umar, not Dr. Umar. Dr. Richard Reeves, he makes little tacit comments on the periphery, right? On the side, right? It wasn't Coleman Hughes' channel. I want to say it was when he did the interview last year. Was it earlier this year or last year with Andrew Yang? He made this kind of sideways comment about women in same-sex relationships, and particularly black women, right? So he knows that these women are just doing that because they think they're better than their male counterparts, right? He understands that it's like they're throwing a fit. He's never gonna say it. Don't ever expect him to admit it. But he know it ain't working for them. Like in my community tab right now, the tweet that I screen shared, that's where the brother said something like, same-sex loving relationships for black women is this is what a black man being with a fat white woman is the same as a black woman in a lesbian relationship, right? And that's all it is. Right. That's all. So we gotta, and if marriage is going the way of the dodo bird in the West, in America in particular, especially in Black America, if marriage is done, right? And I see you, Zulu. Exactly, I'm with you. If marriage is done, fine, but let's make sure that we don't continue to blame the men for it. Admit that the women see marriage as bondage, and there's no amount of emotional intelligence, no amount of men doing the chores at home that's gonna change it, because they have a problem being with average men in the first place. Before we get to Black men that are not emotionally intelligent or men that's not emotionally intelligent, before we get to any of that, admit that the women have a problem being with any type of regular or average man. And then also admit that the vast majority of men are average and that these women are just going to be single. Or, Dr. Umar, you can lobby the US government to make polygamy legal and you can marry 10 of them, 15, 20 of them. Just take them, go. Have fun turning a a-hole woman like Yanni into a wife. Because y'all swear, these people are stuck somewhere pre 1970s, where if the men move like this, then the women won't have a choice. You don't know who you're talking about. You don't know who you're talking about. You don't. And if I met Dr. Umar, I would tell him just like that with this tone. You don't know who you're talking about. You don't. You swear to the women to just get down with men's program if we did this or if we did that. No, they not. They're waging a war against you. Don't you get it? Their goal is to be with the most baller dudes and then divorce that dude and take half. That's the goal. This is not about what black men haven't built. This is about women and what they see as freedom and liberation. And marriage is just not in the cards for the majority of them. Western women have fundamentally said no more marriage, no to marriage. And there's nothing wrong with that. But stop blaming men for it. Right? And Eric Dedman says, hell, Mr. Z, they can't stand to be with baller men. Look at Aisha Curry, Jada Pinkett Smith, Gabrielle Union, Corey Hardrick. Look, but what they're saying is at least these men bought the women's freedom. It's almost, they really see it as slavery. At least I got a good master, right? My master paid top dollar for me and he treats me goods and I eats right. That's how they speaking about marriage. So they're saying if I have to be enslaved to a man as a wife, let it be a baller. Anything less, I can't do. And there's nothing wrong with that. But let the rest of society, the Dr. Umars, the Dr. Richard Reeves, the Dr. Scott Galloways, right? The Rod Shettys, all of them. FD Signifier, let them know. No, right? Your daughters see marriage as slavery, and it doesn't matter what these men do. Stop with we got to work on our emotional intelligence. We got to do more chores. We got to lift her up off her feet. No, man. Are they adults or are they children? Are they? That's what I would ask Dr. Umar Johnson. Are black women adults or are they children? These are the same women that keep on speaking like men can't. We can't. If it wasn't for women, we wouldn't even know how to wipe our own butt. We wouldn't even know how to wipe our own rear end if it wasn't for women. These are the women that speak like that. Meanwhile, they throw in temper tantrums all over the place because they can't be with the type of men they feel they deserve. Or they can't keep the type of men they feel they deserve. Even worse, they divorce the men after they get the man that they feel they deserve. 10 years in, 15 years in, divorce. If even not 5 years in. Right. Right. They divorce their husbands and they start thirst trapping on social media. Shout out to Tia Mari. Right. Because they're the ones who see marriage as slavery, as bondage. And that's not to say that some men don't see it that way, but we speak like all women don't. We speak like all women want to be married and all women want to have the wedding and they want to have children and they want to be mothers. No. And it's okay if they don't. I promise y'all, Mr. Z is not about putting women back in the kitchen. I promise y'all. I know that that flies in the face of a lot of conservative brothers, part of the Black Manosphere. I'm not about forcing women back in the kitchen, but here's the flip side. Here's the caveat. You don't get nothing. You don't get nothing. If you were a $30,000, $35,000 a year woman, you never got married, you get nothing. Especially if we could look through your social media and see you were throwing a fit, you were calling men all type of dusties, and you get nothing. You get no social redress. Nothing. So that's my flip side. I'm not about forcing them back into. I am not about forcing no woman in the kitchen. But if you were one of those that talk about how you don't need men, meanwhile you living off of the estate, no, 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 no. Men are trash, right? What is it? Boys are bad, throw rocks at them, or whatever the T-shirt used to say, right? If you believe in all of that, that's cool. You get nothing as you get older. Nothing, right? Like I said, these people are mean. They condescending. They're belittling. Now they talking down on marriage because marriage is bondage, is slavery, right? They think we threatening them by saying, "Well, you could have die alone." What we're saying is you're insufferable, dear Yanni. What we're saying, at least from your online persona, maybe you're different in real life. You never know. But based off of your online persona, you're insufferable. Yeah, you and the girls, hee hee ha ha. Yeah, that's cute. Yeah, you flirting with dudes that don't know you. Not saying that we do, but based off of your online persona. Now you making six figures talking about you want to be a woman of. Dear women, feminism made it that you can be the breadwinner too. Yes, you too. Right? How those advertisements go, you too can win this. Yes, you too can win being the provider. Right? And so you're throwing a fit. You're throwing a fit because we say you could be a provider. What was the point of feminism then? Right? So we'll end it right there. I just wanted to cover this. I think BGS did a great job covering this. I did not expect to outdo him on this, obviously, right? Definitely not. But you know, and shout out to the young lady from figuring ish out. Shout out to her husband. This was not a critique on her per se, but I did like that she actually put words to the way she thought before she got married, right? And let's go over that again. And she said, right? She said, you know, a life of being tied down was not appealing, right? A life of being tied down, was not as appealing, right? Marriage was not appealing. She also said a loss of power, a loss of control, a loss of flexibility, a loss of ability to move, to go and come and go as I please, was not appealing. When she was single, when she was thinking about marriage, that was just not appealing. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the person saying, I'm not going to sign up for that. I'm not built for that, and I don't want to go through with it. There's nothing wrong with that. But then on the other side, you can't keep chastising men for not building you an infrastructure so that you could be free and then stick your thumb in their eye. How does this work? Once again, radical feminism paid for by men in the patriarchy. How the hell? Right? The young lady also said, marriage meant that I had to be considerate of another person, and I was selfish and basking in my selfishness. Thank you so much for putting it into words. Thank you. Because we see that's what it is, but women stay denying that's how they think and feel and oftentimes talk. They just never say those exact words. And by the way, Yanni, there's nothing wrong with you wanting to take care of yourself and be selfish. Just eat what comes with that. Eat the fact that men are like, find them. And so, yeah, the men in Houston may not know that Yanni has a channel and she talk like this and she think like this about marriage. And so the dudes that's trying to do more than smash, let's see. The dudes that's trying to do more than smash, let's see how many of them are going to stay around Yanni for more than 2 seconds. Right? Yanni, are you letting the men that you date know this is what you think about marriage? That you want to be a kept woman of leisure? That you earn 6 figures and he need to make even more than you and make you a kept woman of leisure? Right? Huh. And so on that note, you know, seeing marriage as slavery, what did Yanni say? Whenever I hear men talk about marriage, it sounds like slavery. Alrighty then. Now y'all know. Now y'all know. This is what they think. Not all. Now it's debatable whether it's most of Western women. Definitely Black American women. But definitely a sizable portion. Maybe most. And that's okay. I'm just advising all my subscribers, the younger cats, not so much the older cats we already know. Move accordingly. Be careful. Just because she has a college degree doesn't mean that she doesn't want to be kept too. Just because she has a graduate degree doesn't mean that she doesn't think like this. Just because she took all type of humanities classes, right? And she took feminism, this and that and this, doesn't mean she doesn't think like this, right? Just because she's talking about female empowerment doesn't mean that she doesn't want the female empowerment to come at your dime. Because Yanni in one breath will say, men and women got both male and female energy. I have male energy too. But she wants to be a kept woman, right? So on that note, we'll truly pause right there, right? Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the thank you button for the replay squad. Sorry for the technical difficulties in the beginning. Y'all already know. Um, somebody said Everglade Wireless, hysterical. Earlier. So yeah. I saw Gender Warlord. Other brothers like, yeah, I couldn't do too much of Yanni. I listened to BGS, but I couldn't do Yanni. And I understand. I understand, right? BGS said Yanni is a liar. Oh man, BGS, I gotta close out. I would really love to hear why you say that. Let's see. Actually, you know what? Give me a second. Give me a second. Let's see if I could do this. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Okay. I'm gonna drop a link in real quick, and it's for BGS only. Okay, so BGS, if you're still here, give me a second. If this thing would pop up, that would be great. Wait a minute. Okay, there we go. Give me 1 second, everybody. Give me, give me one, and let's see. Okay, that link is for BGS if he wants to come up. So look at here why BGS thinks Yanni is a liar, right? Better you said go for overtime. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat, right? But yeah, so for me, listening to Yanni speak, it was very interesting, and listening, juxtaposing what Yanni was saying to what the young lady from figuring ish out, what she was saying, and seeing that she reconsidered and she evolved in the way she saw marriage. Obviously, she's married, right? So that's what I found fascinating to hear Yanni essentially throwing a temper tantrum, right? Because you got to know that Yenny is meeting men that she probably finds attractive and appealing, and then she's finding out how much they earn, and she's turned off. Well, what do you think when you're a six-figure woman? Assuming you're a six-figure woman, right? From Africa, I came said, as far as polygyny, imagine being married to three Yannies. You're gonna have a heart attack and be dead by 55. I'm saying, right? I'm saying because of course, of course, right? Of course, and it's because they don't care about anything but a lifestyle, right? They don't care about anything but a lifestyle, bro. That's the thing. It's not about you as a man. It's not about even them. It's not about the kids. It's not about the family. It's about showing off. It's about showing off. It's about I'm better than you, right? To their homegirls, their frenemies, because they keep them some frenemies. It's about I'm better than you to their frenemies. My kids go to this exclusive school. My husband drives this. We live in this house in this exclusive neighborhood. That's what it's about. It's about bragging rights, right? That's what it's about. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the woman saying, I would rather be single. But eat that. And Yanni's comments is also women saying, more and more men are making it seem like dying alone isn't that bad. I think that's okay that they think that. It is okay if they think that. But then you gotta eat that, right? You have to eat what that means. One of the women in her comments was like, "I'm 51, divorced, no kids." Right? Okay, all right, right, and eat that. You're talking about it like it's something that you're happy about. Then okay, I think these older women do younger women a disservice. The women that because they lie about how look. Any one of us that know anyone who works in hospice care or that works the nurses, we know the women. We always talk about the men and the in the hospital by themselves, and no one coming to visit the men and their children not coming and everything. Ain't nobody talking about how them women be damn near about to cry or do be crying actually. The women that do because nobody coming to visit them because they never had kids. They don't have any nieces and nephews. They don't have any siblings. See all that. Oh, I don't see that Kevin Samuels thing as a threat yet. Sound nice until you in it, right? It sounds nice until you're in it. So Yanni's just, I think, like I said, juxtaposing what she said with the young lady from figuring ish out, and you see a different level of maturity. You see people that took two different paths. Yes, Yanni isn't not exactly old, but if you sound like that, and let's be very clear, she's just throwing a tantrum. We saw the same thing with Lonnie Love. We see the same thing with a bunch of, especially black women, right? They try to they pretend like they're stoic. They try to keep a stiff upper lip. They pretend, like, yo, I'm good single. I don't care. I'm good single. Having sex is easy. Going out, I go out, I party. I do what I want. They do all that until they're in a relationship, and then they tell you how miserable they were when they weren't married, when they didn't have a man, before they really got serious with a dude. But before that, no, I'm good. I'm good single. Yeah, whatever. We don't believe you. You need more people. We don't believe you. Right? Chrissy, Yanni, all of them. I'm good single. No, I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, okay. All right. I don't need no man. Okay. Oh, you dusties anyway. Well, your man got you paying 50/50. Oh, no, you dusty. I don't never settle for that. All right. Right. All right. Fine. Nothing wrong with that. Fine. If you're saying that, if you like it, I love it. Right. And remember, the internet is forever. You saying what you're saying now, let's see. The internet is forever. The internet is undefeated. Right? And as I say all the time, the internet will expose us all. Y'all are saying that now. Right? Lonnie Love was saying the same type of thing until she ended up with the white dude. And then she started crying and weeping, right? On the real time. When you have somebody that they answered the door and they pick you up from the airport and you don't go home alone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wendy Williams told y'all what it's like to keep on going home alone. Nicki Minaj told y'all stop trying to live vicariously through her with your relationship goals and dreams. Every once in a while, a handful of these celebrity women will tell you the real. All right. Taraji P. Henson over here crying her damn eyes out. Y'all acting like y'all don't know why. Keep on acting like you don't know why Gabrielle Union said, yeah, I'll pay 50/50 and be with D Wade instead of being single and by myself. And being the pass around for dudes in Hollywood. Keep acting like you don't know why she made that bargain. You know what? Maybe you actually don't get it because your ego won't let you get it, Yang. That don't mean that you still don't feel this being single thing. That's why you sound the way you do. You're throwing a tantrum. And no one's trying to force you to be married. No one's trying to force you to be in a relationship. But we all are black and we know what it sounds like for a woman to be in her ego trying to pretend like she's not. They're the ones, to be very clear before we end up, they are the ones who see marriage as bondage. They are the ones who see having children as bondage. Mouse Utopia Project, anyone? These ladies are the ones who see being with a man as bondage. Now, that doesn't mean they still don't want to be attached to your money, though. Right? As a matter of fact, they're telling you, for me to be married to you, you have to buy me out. And the more I make, the more you better bring to the table. The more I make without you, the more you better bring to the table. And yes, it's going to be a delusional amount. Right? So on that note, we'll truly end right there. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great rest of your day. I see BGS didn't come up. Okay. So love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Um, you see what I'm saying? T713 says, retire me. Exactly. Exactly. And Leon says, in terms of relationships, we both know that's not how it works, literally. Yo, the young lady and the brother on figuring ish out, he said, she earns some 40% more than he does. Currently, right now, they've gone back and forth on income. Sometimes he's up, sometimes she's up. But currently, she earns like 40% more than him. I guess, according to these type of women, she should be planning her exit, right? The Chrissies who's making fun of 50-50 relationships, the Yankees who talking about being a kept woman, a woman of leisure that's married. I guess this is when they should be making their exit, right? They would be making their exit right now. Oh man, my husband's a dusty, right? Hmm. And on that note, so I might be streaming a little bit later on tonight, covering the Dr. Umar conversation. Oh boy, right? And once again, shout out to Bernard Riley. I want to cover that also, give my perspective on that one. Yeah, because Dr. Umar he's acting like he don't know what's going on, and if he's not acting, that's even more frightening, honestly, right? Right. So yeah. So we'll end it there, and let's let Leon be the last one. And Leon said, "My woman passed me in income 2 times in the last 4 years. I told her I was gonna break my neck to pass her next year after I graduated. LOL, bro. I don't know. Maybe I earn more than my lady by a margin, by a margin. But maybe it's the way Mrs. Z thinks. I don't know. Either y'all want feminism or y'all don't, ladies. Either you want female empowerment or you don't. Either you want to be able to make as much money as you possibly can or you don't. If you want a society where the men somehow magically always earn more than you do, then you need to go talk to your politicians and to your social engineers and technocrats and tell them, hey, I want men to somehow magically make more than me, or at least my husband to make more than me. And let them tell you there's no way that's mathematically possible. For you to be up and then somehow magically there's always a man and just so happens to be the man you want that's above you financially, and somehow he can make you a kept woman. It just don't. It doesn't math. The math don't math, right? So Leon, I get what you're saying, but Mr. Z is not about it. And me and my lady had that conversation before we got serious. I was already earning more than her. I remember having this conversation with her, and I was like, what, saying, I'm not intimidated by women making money. That's never been a thing for. I don't care about that. Earning more than me, I don't care about that. I just let her know that the second if she was to make more than me, she start talking crazy, I'm out. Kids, no kids, married, not married, I'm out. Right? So that's all it was, and that's all it is, right? The insecurity about who's the lead provider, no, yeah, never had that. No matter what woman I dated, I never cared about that. Especially as an adult, no. Right? And like BTS said, it's our money. And like the young lady said on figuring ish out, it's our money, right? But that's the thing. We what we're finding more and more is that's not how women think. Their money is their money, your money is their money. Right? And their money is for leisure and your money is for fun. No, sorry, wrong. Their money is for leisure and for their stuff, and your money is for bills and their stuff. Right? And who was it? Was it Gender War Lore or Compassion and Callous that covered FD signifier speaking about how women no longer need men, and the more they don't need men, the more we're hearing men talk about dying alone and all this other stuff. And then they just kept on splicing women talking about being with broke dusties or being the one that was paying most majority of the the important bills and everything like that, and how they grew resentment for their man, right? Meanwhile, FD signifiers telling us this is not a thing. And the women are telling you, yeah, it is a thing. And then we watch them bend themselves into pretzels, speaking about Ebony K. Williams and other women like her, right? These are the second order effects that Richard Reeves was speaking about. These are them. These are the second order effects. Women trying to reconcile feminism and female empowerment with patriarchy because they want both. They want both. And that's why they're having a difficult time with marriage, because they still want to be kept women. Even black women who really didn't come from that line of history, right? They still want it. So white women want it, Latina women want it, and black women want it. They want to be kept women. They want to be powerful, independent, kept women. Tell me how this works. They want to be free and not in bondage and not slave to a husband and to children, while that man's income and his labor and whatever domestic abilities he has is enslaved to her though. You still paying bills and you still washing dishes and folding clothes. Oh, and getting the oil changed in the car and getting the car washed and mowing the lawn and cleaning out the gutters, etc., etc. You still do all the traditional man stuff. She don't have to do the traditional woman stuff because that's patriarchy and sexism and misogyny. How this supposed to work?